All right, today on the Tone Manual, we are cracking open the vault on one of the most iconic, heaviest, and just plain coolest guitar tones ever recorded, the signature sludge of Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell.
So you gotta ask yourself, how was this legendary wall of sound actually built? It's a tone that's just crushingly heavy, but also super melodic, and you know it the second you hear it. But the secret is way more interesting than just plugging into a loud amp and cranking it. Let's break down the sonic architecture of this thing.
First things first, we need to really get a handle on the character of this tone. People often call it sludge, and that's a perfect word for it. It lives in this really unique, murky space right between the raw, chaotic energy of grunge and the tight, surgical precision of heavy metal.
I mean, listen to this. One critic described the guitar sound on the album Dirt as relentlessly queasy, claustrophobic, and tortured. Wow, that's a fitting description, right? This isn't just a heavy sound for the sake of being heavy. It's got this emotional weight to it. The tone itself is telling a story. So the question is, how on earth do you create that feeling with a bunch of gear?
Well, here's the first big secret. The absolute core of that classic sound wasn't one amp turned all the way up. No way. It was this genius studio trick from producer Dave Jordan. They layered multiple guitar tracks. But here's the catch. Each track ran through a different amp that was specifically EQ'd to only handle the lows, or the mids, or the highs. The result was this massive, harmonically dense sound that a single amp could just never, ever produce.
Okay, so keeping that layering idea in mind, let's trace the signal all the way back to the very beginning. The whole sound starts with one very specific and now very legendary guitar.
And here she is, the GNL Rampage, famously nicknamed Blue Dress, which Cantrell has been using since 1985. It's armed with a Seymour Duncan JB humbucker, the super high-output pickup that gives him all the power he needs, but it's also got incredible clarity for those complex, dissonant chords he loves. As Cantrell himself put it, this guitar is on, and I'm quoting here, 98.9% of every song he's ever recorded. This thing isn't just a guitar, it's the absolute foundation of his entire sound.
So moving on down the signal chain, we get to the next piece of the puzzle. And this is probably the most unique and misunderstood part of Cantrell's whole setup, his absolutely genius use of a wah pedal.
So let's do a quick refresher. A wah pedal is basically a tone knob that you control with your foot. It's a filter that sweeps through your guitar's frequencies, creating that classic wah-wah vocal-like sound. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, that's not exactly how Cantrell uses it.
He eventually teamed up with Dunlop to make his own signature Crybaby wah, and this pedal was built to his exact specs with one really key change. It has a darker and wider frequency range than a standard wah. That darker voice, that's a huge clue right there.
And here it is, the big reveal. The secret isn't in rocking the pedal back and forth. For his main rhythm tone, Jerry Cantrell uses the wah as a static filter. He finds a little sweet spot in the pedal's range and just leaves it there.
This is the famous cocked wah technique. By parking the pedal somewhere in the middle, you get the filter without the sweep. And this is exactly how he shapes his tone. The wah carves out all that low-end mud and boosts a very specific slice of the mid-range. This adds that signature vocal-like growl and just tightens up the entire sound. It's basically a secret weapon, an EQ and a filter all in one pedal. Okay, so we've got the guitar providing the muscle and the wah pedal shaping the attitude. Now we need the raw horsepower. Let's talk about the amps that create that massive wall of gain.
Now, while stories have kinda changed over the years, two pieces of gear are always at the heart of that classic Alice in Chains sound. First, the Bogner Fish preamp, and second, a very special Bogner-modified Marshall JCM 800 nicknamed the Snorkeler. Cantrell himself said, "I love that sound. Clear low end with a lot of growl that doesn't come at the cost of definition." And remember, in the studio, they'd blend these with other amps, like a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier for the bottom end, to create all those distinct frequency layers we talked about earlier.
So that's the theory, but how do you actually build this sound for yourself? Let's get our hands dirty and dive into the blueprint for building this rig, and we'll cover both the old-school analog way and the modern digital approach.
Okay, if you're using a real high-gain amp like a Marshall or something in that ballpark, here's a really solid starting point. You want the gain up there, maybe around 6 or 7, so it's saturated but not a muddy mess. The real magic, though, is in pushing the mids and treble. That's what gives you the punch and clarity. Then you want to dial the bass back a bit, maybe to 5 or 6, to keep everything tight and stop it from getting all boomy. Now for the magic trick. Once your distorted tone is set, click on your wah pedal.
Slowly, and I mean slowly, push it forward from the heel-down position and just listen. You're searching for that one little spot where the sound just gets tight and focused, where it gets that vocal-like growl but doesn't get thin or piercing. When you find it, park it right there. That's the filter. You found it.
But let's be real. Not everybody has a vintage, Bogner modded Marshall just lying around in their bedroom. The good news is you can get incredibly close with digital modelers and plugins these days.
So here's your digital blueprint. For the amp, you want to look for any model that's based on a modified Marshall. They often call this a brown sound. For that cocked wah effect, you can just use a parametric EQ plugin to boost a narrow frequency band in your mid-range. Or even easier, just use a mid-boost pedal or plugin. And of course, start with a guitar model that has a high-output humbucker. Simple as that.
So, to wrap it all up, the legendary Jerry Cantrell tone really rests on these three pillars. It all starts with the raw power and clarity from his G&L and that Seymour Duncan JB pickup. It's then shaped and sculpted by that brilliant cocked wah trick that acts as a mid-range filter. And then finally, it's blown up to epic proportions in the studio by layering tracks of different high-gain amps.
It's just a perfect example of using simple tools in a brilliant, unconventional way to create a sound that is truly, truly timeless. So that leads us to the question for you. Which iconic rig should we dissect next? Let us know in the comments below, and we might just put it on the workbench.